Can you just give me your names? My name's ZacharyGittrich. I'm part of Agitation Rising. Can you just give me your names real quick and tell me why you're here?
Just a second. One of our friends.
I'm Yahli Earkan. I'm here because I think that there's a lot of misinformation going on around college campuses, and I think that the chant from the river to the sea is calling for exactly what they're saying is happening to Palestinians, which is fact not what is happening. Israel has the right to defend itself, and it just happens that the terrorist organization that rules Gaza, Hamas, uses human shields, and when you're trying to eradicate a terrorist organization, and in war in general, there are going to be civilian casualties. That's unfortunate, but Israel reserves the right to defend itself and to get her hostages back.
What do you mean by human shields? Can you define that specifically?
So they protect themselves with tunnels under hospitals, cities. The entirety of Gaza City is built on top of tunnels that terrorists hide under.
Yeah, the all damage you see right now in Gaza right now, it's because they are trying to destroy the terror system there. So because the terror system is part of the civilian system, you know what I mean? So that's why they destroy it's like Gaza downtown basically. Underground. Underground.
It's a whole different city.
And literally they proved, the soldiers right now in Gaza, they proved they have literally underneath the hospitals.
There's 300 miles of tunnels.
Yes, they have underneath some shelters and everything, just for terror. You know what I mean? I'm Ariel. I'm from Israel. I was born and raised in Israel. And that's basically me.
Okay, so the reason I asked about what you meant by human shields, because usually the international definition of human shields is you're physically putting someone in front of you. It's not usually, somebody runs into a building and then they bomb the building. Do you think?
No, they are covering themselves. Just a second, let them pass. Yes, sir. So right now we can get back on that.
My name is Sonny.
What's up?
My name is Sonny. I just want to give you all the courage. It takes courage that you do it.
It's what?
It takes courage that you guys do it.
Of course. But I tell you what, I told all of my friends, all of my family from all around the world, because I have family all around the world. That's my truth. That's my reality. That's my identity. So it's so much easier to talk. Of course it takes some courage and brave, but that's who I am. And that's my country. And that's my people. I have lost 5 of my high school friends. Literally, I have lost them because of massive terror attack.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, of course.
All right, so in my opinion, I'm not educated on this. I know very little about.
So I would say one thing before. I'm not the judge. I'm not gonna judge anybody. But I would just say one thing. Before you have any opinion or any idea about any topic around the world, educate yourself about the facts. Because facts is not only for the last 20 years, or 75 years, or 100 years. Fact goes back to 2,000 years ago. Right? And educate yourself about the whole process of why we're here today. And that's why, and before you establish any strong and solid opinion. So what's your question?
My opinion is,
So,
how do you feel
to
about
extend your question, brother, it's a nice question. Let's say the British was here 200 years back. Can British come back and reclaim it?
Well, what?
Can British come back and reclaim in the United States? No, right?
Yeah, I have a question. For you.
Yeah, sure.
200 years ago. What about 2,000 years ago?
No, I'm questioning. I'm asking you about United States.
But I don't have any American citizenship, so that's why I can't speak about that. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you a question. So you're talking about how like the British mandate and how they took over.
What about the Native Americans?
exactly.
What about the Native Americans? But two, you have to remember that land, and I'm talking about the entire like Arabian Peninsula, Jordan, it like a bunch of that land wasn't autonomous for close to 2,000 years due to the Ottoman Empire. That land had no autonomous history since before like what you would count as modern civilization. And historically, when you talk about that land before all of what I'm going to call bullshit, it was called Judea and Samaria. After years and years and years of Jews being pushed around and murdered and just like kind of left out to dry.
Primarily by Christians.
Why shouldn't we be able to go to a place that makes us feel safe? I'm also, there are Arabs and Muslims that live in Israel peacefully. There are entire cities that are Muslim
condemns what happened.
I want to answer her question.
And they serve in leadership and they
served in the military.
They serve in the military and they have full citizenship and they live in Israel and it's such a lovely representation of cohesion.
I understand your question so far.
So why is it? Why is it that when it comes to Israel, you're asked about it? Why is it that it's only Israel that you're asked about the autonomy of the region? Why aren't we hearing about it from Native Americans? Why are we hearing it from Texas?
Native Americans got exterminated. There was
what
a
about
genocide
Texas?
here.
Texas
Same
was
thing is happening
annexed
in
by
Palestine.
America.
But my point is,
you're talking about genocide in Palestine.
my point
right?
is that I don't think that has anything to do with religion. I don't think it has
No,
anything to
it
do
doesn't.
with the Palestinian people or the Israeli people.
That's
I think
because
it has
it's nothing
to do,
about religion.
I think that has to do with our leaders and their profit margins on the defense contracts. They are using us as pawns
Can you take it again
to
so I can
sell
smile?
weapons. Do you guys agree with that? That they are using the Palestinian struggle and the Israeli struggle as pawns
and that's why I'm
sell
saying
weapons.
and that's why I'm saying I mean it's your right to protest pre-Palestine, okay? But saying from the river to the sea has
That's
genocide for the other
it's
side.
semantics and it's a distraction from the real issue.
I have a question for you.
And that's
Exactly.
war
About
contract.
genocide?
I'm
Talk
against
about
Hamas.
genocide?
I'm against Hamas. I'm not against what?
I'm sorry. There's two people talking.
No, you're talking about genocide, right?
Yeah, what's happening right now to the Palestinians.
Quick question.
Do you agree that there's a
Hold on.
genocide happening?
No, and I'll tell you why.
No.
I
The
disagree with
Palestinian population, both in Palestine and Gaza, has grown sixfold in the past 60 years. I would love to know, with a population growth that large, how you can call that
You
genocide.
can't agree that the genocide is not happening right now to the Palestinian people, that we have nothing to talk about.
I have
Because-
before that.
Let's
I'll
go. Thank you.
I'll go before that.
Thank you. It takes courage to show. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, let's go. Thank you.
So I would say what I was about to say to this person. Genocide because of what?
I'm just going to bitch for a second. Did you see the second that he was told something he couldn't answer to, he walked away? Did you notice that? The second the argument came, he couldn't have an answer. He had to walk away.
I'm here to conversate about anything.
Tell us.
I'm here to conversate about anything. Whatever you want to
How
ask.
you doing?
About
What's
genocide.
your name?
Jeremy.
We are defending ourselves. And when you claim the war, a war against Israel, and that's what they did, they claimed the war against Israel.
They broke a ceasefire that had been in contact, technically, since May of 2021. Everyone's calling for a ceasefire, and there was one. Hamas broke it the instant that they decided to come into Israeli land and murder 1,400 people.
And the only reason so many civilians from the Palestinian are suffering right now, that's because of Hamas. That's because they are using these innocent people, these civilians. I mean, we can talk about the fact if they're innocent, true innocent or not. But
I mean, do you think the Palestinians in Gaza are innocent?
some of them, but not all of them.
Do you have a percentage? You know, just some of them.
I'm not a politician.
Because like half of them are children that we know.
Half of them are children, but these children also, they help hiding. They're helping hiding the hostages. They went into Israel, raped people, celebrating in the streets with dead bodies, abusing dead bodies. So you call them innocent? I don't know. I mean, that's.
Well, I mean, children. I typically consider.
But I mean,
innocent.
what children? 16 years old man. Is he really a child? I don't know. That's your place to define if he's a child or not. That's your place to decide if he's celebrating and if he has a gun and if he's shooting towards Israeli soldiers, if he's really innocent. You know what I mean? And Hamas is using these people to protect themselves.
Hey, sir, man. I want to let you guys know I love you guys.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Sir, love you too, man. Take care.
They are using these people. They are using these hospitals. They are using these schools. They are using these that's right, religious places to protect themselves. And they don't understand one thing. We got harmed, we got damaged a lot along the last 75 years. Okay, but right now you crossed all the lines.
It's and it also has to do with this. People are talking about how, you know, Israel's retaliation isn't proportional. I would love to know what they mean by proportional. Because in order for it to be proportional, you would have to kill the exact same amount of children, kidnap the exact same amount of hostages, rape the same amount of women, and kill the same amount of people. What is proportional?
And there's a difference between proportional for civilians and proportional for soldiers.
I would also
I mean, the record right now is like 10,000 Palestinians, if you can, around 3,000 children have been killed, compared to
I don't know
the
who said these
1,400
numbers. Of course, the Palestinian side. I mean,
which
to
the
be
U.S.
honest,
the U.S. State Department does follow what the
that's
Palestinian.
fine. But
the UN is also there.
Let me go even farther back. I have a hard time to call them Palestinians. You know why? Because my people, Golda Meir, what she said, I'm a Palestinian. Golda Meir, the Prime Minister of Israel, she said, I'm Palestinian. We all Palestinians because we were born in this soil, on this land. We all Palestinians. And we're all Israelis right now, right? 47. Like, I'm very active on social media. People are like, yeah, well, like, you're like doing a genocide, you start a war, whatever. Who started the war at 47? Who started the war at
Al Husseini.
Listen, it has to do with like, who started it doesn't matter. People are dying. That's
and that's unfortunate.
That's unfortunate.
People dying, unfortunate. But we have the right to defend ourselves. We have the right to have people living wherever. People here don't understand that I have to fly to get out of my country. I can't just drive, I can't just walk, I can't just cross the border. It's like, hey, you're in Iowa, hey, you're in Indiana or Wisconsin or Florida, Kentucky, whatever. I have to fly. Why? Because I'm not safe in my country. I'm not safe in my country because of these missiles, because I have this fear that people can break the border and then cross there, rape my mom, rape my girlfriend, rape my... Dude, I'm getting goosebumps just saying that.
Do the Palestinians have a right to defend themselves?
Yeah. Okay. And that's what we're doing right now. Fighting, right?
Okay.
And they have a right to defend. And again.
What's the difference?
There's a difference. Palestinian civilians defending themselves. That's, you know.
We're helping the civilians to defend themselves.
Literally.
We're
sending out leaflets. We're calling them. We're telling them there's a way that you can leave.
We are sending them. We are sending them south. Yes, permanently, to be a refugee, not like for all life. Permanently, go right south to Gaza River. Not Gaza River, whatever river it is. I don't know, whatever river it is. Go there. We want to get there and clean the area.
What do you mean by clean the area?
Clean the area. Clean the area from terrorism. Clean the area from missiles. And right now, you know where the missiles coming right now?
Under a hospital.
And you know what? Like, we are sending the people south. They are sending the missiles right now from the south. because they understand that we're not gonna bomb there because.
But the IDF has bombed people that were going south.
What?
The IDF has bombed people that were going south.
They're-
They have bombed the UN
who
multiple
bombed,
times.
You know who bombed the people went south? You know who bombed them?
The
Hamas.
IDF.
No, the IDF.
It's been very well reported that the IDF has bombed people that were going south, bombed people at the UN shelter.
They had 3 hours, just yesterday, they had 3 hours of like shut off humanitarian to go south. 3 hours, no bombing. They said, go south. You have like right now 3 hours.
But they have been bombed before, so they might be skeptical of saying, well, I'm going to leave. And
okay, so that's a debate between us. That's an argument. I'm telling you, yesterday, the BBC, all like the big news around the world, they posted Hamas bombed people went down south because they know it's gonna be on the IDF. Because they know that. IDF is the most humanitarian military around the world. Let me ask you a question. If the Mexican, if the Canadian, of course it's not gonna happen, would cross the border and rape and beheaded and literally dude, I can't even talk about that. Americans. Someone around the world is gonna tell the Americans, stop, don't clean whoever did that? I don't think so. Because if this is happening, you have the right to defend yourself. You have the right to make sure it's never gonna happen again.
So so just take your hypothetical. If Canada attacked the United States.
I could show you exactly what it looked like. This is what it would look like. It would be over 3 million rockets. There would be over 203,000 people injured, over 52,000 people murdered, and over 8,000 kidnapped.
If it would happen
that's exactly
in America.
what it would look like by percentages.
If it would happen in America.
If it was the same proportion.
Same proportion.
Because we are talking about proportion right now.
This is 15 9/11s. Think about the impact that 9/11 had on America.
October 7th was not 15 9/11s. Let's be clear.
October 7th was worse.
You think it was worse?
100%.
I mean, it was different attack. It was different attack. Different type of attack.
But when you scale the population,
we were talking about proportions, right?
Proportions.
We're talking about proportions right now. So proportions, that's what they do. I mean, I'm talking about values. So getting in a house, tying the mom and the dad, tying the kids, and then making sure the kids are watching when one terrorist is opening the mom's belly when she's pregnant and taking out the baby. That's a value. It didn't happen. It didn't happen in 9/11. I mean, again, 9/11 was terrible, but it was one attack that happened once. These people, you know what they did later? They took a spoon, literally a spoon.
false alarm.
They took a spoon and took the dad's eye out of the place.
I haven't seen any of those videos. I haven't seen any of those reporting. I think what happened.
You know why? No.
I've listened to you. I've listened to you, right?
Let me finish for a second. Because you know who saw these videos? The politicians, the prime ministers, and the presidents of all around the world. Why? Because we understand that we're not gonna publish this video because that's disgusting. It's not even disgusting. That's like
disgusting.
No one should watch that. No one should watch.
And then Hamas would Facebook Live it.
Yes, and they Facebook Live when they are shooting people, and you saw that.
I saw them like shooting people inside porta potties while they were locked in porta potties.
They had GoPros on their
So there's videos of what you just talked about of them cutting people open and stuff like that.
Our ambassador in the UN showed these
videos.
That specific video of them doing that.
Fascist.
Yes, ma'am. They showed these
Didn't realize
videos.
democracy was fascism.
Yeah, they showed these videos to many of our allies in the UN, and some of these ambassadors or prime ministers or whatever, they left the room because they couldn't watch it anymore because that was that bad. And you're not gonna see that nowhere. Why? Because you should not see that.
No one should.
No one should see that.
So there's been some criticism from the Israeli media against Netanyahu because he took soldiers off of the Gazan border and moved them over to the West Bank. And some people are saying that this was this made it the possibility for the October 7th attack to happen. Do you have any criticisms of the Netanyahu government and how they handled that?
I never voted to Netanyahu.
But you still have an opinion. I mean,
and
you're an Israeli,
no,
so I mean, like,
I'm starting with that.
Yeah.
I never voted to Netanyahu. We had a conception. In the last, Netanyahu developed the conception of Hamas is.
Yeah, he helped fund them.
Through Qatar, yes, he let it happen. I mean, I don't say Netanyahu is the main, it made Hamas. I don't say
the Netanyahu administration.
The whole shame is on Netanyahu. I don't say that. Because you have to manage your resources, right? And in the last 2 years, 3 years, whatever, the West Bank was a little more concerning, according to them. Which, yeah, we can debate about that. We can argue about that. So they moved some of the resources, some of the soldiers there. I disagree with Netanyahu. I don't think Netanyahu should be the prime minister anymore. I don't think he should have been the prime minister since he started all of his cases in court. I disagree with it. I never elected.
Do you think his strategy has been particularly effective at getting hostages back?
Right now?
Yeah.
Yes. Because
and I don't know this. Do you happen to know how many hostages we've gotten back? Because it was over 200.
We got 4. They released because they understood that these 4 hostages, 2 of them were Americans. Yes, from here, from Illinois.
There's still been a lot of Americans in Gaza that haven't been able to get out through the southern border,
right.
even though countries people nationals from other countries have been
right
able
now
to.
They started letting them, but you know why they didn't let them? Hamas didn't let them.
I mean, they were down there at the border trying to get out, and they weren't allowed
out.
Hamas
didn't let them. Because they know it's more power for them to use it.
So Hamas was at the border of the Sinai border and not letting them get out.
It's called the Rafiq entrance.
If the IDF sees Hamas down there, why aren't they just directly attacking the people at the Sinai border that they know are Hamas?
We can't do that. We can't do that because that's the border between Gaza and Egypt. We can't be there. We can attack there. That's not our responsibility.
That's not our responsibility, first of all.
But I mean, if the goal is to explicitly take out Hamas and there's Hamas members there.
But if you would attack, it's like a loop. If you would attack the south and you send the people to the south, what the whole world is going to tell about you, is going to say about you. Right now, the missiles sending from the south to the north, to the center of Israel, to the south of Israel, whatever, and we're not attacking there because we send these people there. We can, what's the Iron Dome? The best
I am familiar with what the Iron Dome is.
Who is protecting the most?
Oh.
They're protecting the Israelis, right? But they are protecting the Palestinians too. Because if all of these missiles would damage Israel, Gaza right now would never exist.
A quarter of all the missiles that launch from within Gaza land in Gaza.
And we all know that.
And everyone knows that. They launch Iron Dome systems into Gaza too. They don't want that much damage because they know that will mean more civilians dead.
Wait, who doesn't want that much damage? IDF or Hamas?
Israel.
Okay.
That's why we destroyed the missiles in the air. Also, if it would land in Gaza. Even if it would land in Gaza, because we understand the price of that in the future. You know what I mean? So right now, the military operation on the ground, the boots on the ground, would help the hostages. Why? Because Sinwar and Muhammad Def and all of these people, they are not here to conversate with you.
They just want.
We are conversating right now. They would never. These people, they just crossed. Some of them, you saw, they just when we started conversation, they just left. They don't want to conversate with you. I'm willing to conversate about any topic in the world, even if it's the hardest one. They understand one thing, and it's power on their lives. On their lives. And they don't.
Excuse me. Who understands what? I'm just trying to be clear.
Sinwar. You know who's Sinwar?
I don't know. I'm sorry. Okay. I don't know who that is.
Sinwar, Muhammad Def. These people are the leaders of Hamas.
Okay.
They are the leaders. They designed this attack.
Are you familiar with the Abrahamic Accords?
Of course.
So, it's my understanding most of the actual Hamas leadership is in Qatar. And so why is Israel not trying to get Qatar, who signed the Abrahamic Accords, to release these leaders? I mean, it seems almost like it would be more effective than the bombings that are going on in Gaza if they say that we're trying to get Hamas specifically.
I think that
The relationship, we don't have any official relationships between Qatar and Israel.
Isn't Qatar one of the signatories of the Abrahamic Accords?
No, not Qatar. Not Qatar.
Okay.
Not Qatar. Not Qatar. Not Bahrain.
We're not Saudi Arabia, although we were working
Saudi Arabia. It was on the way there.
the way.
It was on the way there, but then that happened. UAE, Morocco. Egypt and Jordan are not part of the Abraham
we have
peace
peace with
agreement.
them.
Yes.
Oslo?
Yeah. No, Oslo, it was about the West Bank. Egypt, it was after 73, and Jordan, I think Jordan is Oslo too. I think Jordan is Oslo.
So what is the end game with this strategy in Gaza? Well, like, what do you think that the Netanyahu government, the IDF, is ultimately trying to accomplish in Gaza?
The IDF wants to accomplish a Gaza without a terrorist organization. Gaza was elected democratically in 2007 after Israel pulled out and gave all the people that live in Gaza the keys. They were like,
but let me go one step before. You know Hamas and Fatah.
Yeah.
Fatah is another organization who's controlling right now the West Bank. Who is like Abu Mazen is the head of Fatah. Fatah people just told to our people, that's what we told you 20 years ago. They threw our people from the rooftops.
Fatah did, or how?
What?
Fatah did?
Fatah did?
Fatah threw people?
No, Hamas.
Okay, I'm just trying to make sure.
Yes, Hamas threw from the rooftops Fatah people to say we are controlling here. And in the Israeli prisons right now, Hamas and Fatah is not going together because these like enemies of each other. And Fatah said for the last whatever years, 20, 30 years, that Hamas is so bad. We can't handle that. We can't handle that. And again, I have nothing against Palestinian people. I want to live and let to live. Let me live and I will let you live. Just don't try to kill me.
Yeah,
don't try.
That's
all we want. That's all we want.
We just want people to stop trying to kill us. Like, I think Golda Meir said this. If Israel put down its weapons, there would be no more Israel. If Gaza and the West Bank put down their weapons, there would be peace.
What do you think about the settlements that have been going on in the West Bank for many decades now?
Mm-hmm. Because these terror systems, these terror organizations, trying to build same systems in the West Bank.
But the West Bank is controlled by Fatah, that has not that hasn't endorsed violent struggle.
It's what?
The West Bank is controlled by Fatah, which has that has not endorsed violent struggle against Israel.
That's not true. That's not 100% true, because Fatah, the cops of Fatah,
the police force?
The police, yes, they shoot on sometimes, and also the second Intifada, the second Intifada. These police people from Fatah, they was part of that. They used their weapons that we gave them to shoot us. So it's true, but not 100% true. And with Fatah, we have conversate more than with Hamas, but it's still not like love, peace.
You talked about settlements.
Yeah. Which most of the international community has said is illegal.
What?
Settlements?
The settlements in the West Bank.
Okay.
Because you look at an old picture of the West Bank, you look at a new picture, and it's cut up. There are highways that are built in through that West Bank that Palestinians are not allowed to travel on.
He's gonna not like me for this, but we say it anyway. I'm Israeli American. I was born in Tel Aviv and I was raised in the States. All of my family is in Israel. Everyone. I go back at least once a year. The way that, and I'm straying from the settlements a little bit because I think this is important to talk about. I think the way that Americans are taught about the Middle East doesn't exist. I think a lot of the information that people get, at least people our age and universities get, is from online, from 30-second clips of someone very, very quickly summarizing information that takes a very long time to explain.
It's a whole degree in university. It's 4 years degree in university if you really want to know everything.
It's so much information,
I don't know everything.
And people grasp on to the things that they identify with the most. And I don't think that people our age look into it enough. I think that if there were enough university students that really took a day to look into what was going on, they would say, we want peace, and in order for there to be peace, we need to free Palestine from Hamas, from the terrorist organization that it is ruled under. They wouldn't be calling for the genocide of Israelis. They wouldn't be calling out for the state of Israel to be wiped out. They would be trying to find a way to get humanitarian aid to the civilians and not send humanitarian aid and money straight into the hands of
And the best example is what the Jordan Air Force just did last night. They sent from the air. They sent humanitarian aid to the hospitals, and we supported that because we support.
Many of which are running out of power.
What?
Many of which are running out of power, and they're running out of supplies.
That's also not true because you saw Shifa Hospital last night. Shifa Hospital.
I didn't specifically say it, but no.
But I mean,
not all of them have run out of power, but like
not
the actual power plant in Gaza has very limited capacity.
They still have lots of generators and lots of gas for that.
But presumably that will end eventually, and Israel has a lot more control over the resources that are able to come, water, food, electricity that are able to come into Gaza.
Right now, Shifa Hospital, first off, it's a base for terror, and
they literally live under it.
And we under and in there. And you said about the power.
How do you know that?
What?
How do you know that?
Because they
people
openly
got there.
advertise it.
Yes.
They openly advertise it. They go online.
They have tunnels underneath, but there's
go
doctors.
online
There are doctors. Hold on. There are doctors in there.
Doing an interview, man. I don't know what you want.
Okay, if you don't want me to.
Hey, man, I'm doing an interview right now. I don't know what to tell you.
So I tell you. There are doctors there.
Yeah, but they've come out and said that I've been in the hospital. I've never been restricted, and there has never been any Hamas people. There has never been any, and they've come out.
Hamas is paying for these people too, and what?
I can't just go off of that without proof.
How can you explain the fact that Hamas has openly talked about the fact that
the whole BBC, the whole news around the world, the main news factors around the world show these videos of terror organizations underneath hospitals, terror organizations 50 meters from schools, terror organizations like from where you pray. Sorry, I don't know how to say it in English. Mosque, yeah. From mosques. Do you agree with me about that? They are sending rockets and missiles from the mosque, from hospitals, okay, not from hospitals because you disagree with me about that. From the mosque, from schools. You agree with me?
Okay, Gaza is such a small city. Okay, let's say that's true. Okay.
They are doing the same thing from hospitals. And all the power in Shifa right now, yesterday night, they put a huge screen outside, and you see all the rooms like here, like now, like with lights inside the hospital, and you see lights inside. You see a huge screen, and you know what they show them? The old people around? They show them how they killed people, how they killed Israeli soldiers, how they attacked them, how they sent some rockets on like the soldiers right now in Gaza. Okay, and they show that just to promote that.
I don't want to interrupt his interview.
Go ahead.
Let you finish.
I mean, if you don't want to be on camera, then like I'm on my interview, so.
I have a question for you.
Well, wait, I just have a couple more minutes because like we've been going for like a half hour. And so like, let me ask a hypothetical, especially around the human shield. So say, there's a terrorist or a murderer, running around normal, and he runs into your apartment building, and the police, instead of sending in a specific squad to go after, just bomb the whole building with you living in it. Would that be acceptable?
Yeah, no, but here's the thing. It's different.
When you tell...
Why is it different?
No, just a second. Israel doesn't do that. Israel called these people. On the phone. And tell them...
5 minutes.
More than 5 minutes.
So get the people that are on ventilators, the babies that are in NICU, get them out.
After calling them,
because taking them off of that would kill. Taking people that are on ventilators and babies that are on NICU would kill them. You can't just take them out, right?
After calling these people, after calling these people,
Do you know what an ambu
they are
bag
they are
is?
doing.
Huh?
Do you know what an ambu bag is?
No.
An ambu bag is a manual ventilation system.
And they are telling.
Do they
people
have enough?
They are telling people. First off, yes. Second off, they are telling people for days, right now, to more. I think since it happened, yeah, for a month, go south. If you're
But
in the hospital,
where are they supposed to go in the south? Like, there's not home. Like, are they just supposed to live in
the
caves
UN,
or?
The UN opened lots of areas for them to be with enough water, enough food, enough medicine.
Which again, the IDF has bombed several times.
No.
Yeah, they
In
have.
the south?
Yeah,
I would
they
love to
have.
know where you're
Show me
Yeah.
proof that they bombed the south.
I would love
They
to see the
don't bomb
source.
the south, although they're sending missiles from the south right now.
I would love
We're
to
getting
see
missiles from the
information.
south, and we don't bomb there because we understand we send these people there, so we don't bomb the south right now.
There's
Okay, what's like?
There-
Let's continue. Let's go ahead.
You're talking about the people moving to the south. Where are they going to go? Have you not heard that Egypt won't take any of them?
Yeah, I know.
Jordan won't take any
Yep.
of them. None of the, what is it, 27, something like that? Whatever, 20-something Muslim countries that exist in the Middle East won't take any of them. They won't do it
Yeah.
because they know that there's a very high likelihood that some of these people could cause a lot of issues and a lot of disturbance.
I mean, there's also a lot of
to the
intra-Arabic racism that exists, just like there's intra-black racism, there's intra-Hispanic.
Yes.
There's even some intra-Israeli racism between like the white Israelis and the black Israelis from Ethiopia.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the things. But then the other thing is the Palestinians don't want to live in Egypt. They want to live in Palestine, right? Like,
I think you also forget that like the West Bank in particular belonged to Jordan for years, like years. It
and
was
who did
part
Jordan
of
give it to?
After the war.
After the
Yeah.
war.
Who did they give it to?
No, they didn't
No,
give it.
they didn't give it.
We got
So
it.
they still own it?
No.
No. It's,
We own that because
Okay.
when you start the war,
and then
don't
you want peace.
try to get away from the consequences. That's my whole point. If you claim the war, if you start the war, there are going to be consequences for both sides. So don't start the war and they puss.
It's like,
Okay, pause.
I didn't.
After one day,
I mean, 10,000 people compared to 1,400. I mean, how many more Palestinians are going to die before the IDF is like, okay, we're done here? Especially when most of the Hamas leadership isn't actually in
Would you have asked that
Gaza.
of the American military after 9/11?
Huh?
Would you have asked the American military that after 9/11?
you know what happened?
I-
in
I-
Afghanistan?
I-
You know what happened in
People in
Afghanistan?
Afghanistan?
In Afghanistan last weekend, not 20 years ago. Last weekend. How many people died? You know,
From what?
In Afghanistan,
from bombing from Pakistan.
Okay, I mean, what does
Do
that
you
have to
know-
do with America?
What?
What is that specific? Like, America isn't in Afghanistan anymore. And
You're talking about people. You're talking about people right to live, right?
yeah, but my freedoms aren't in Afghanistan. My freedoms aren't in Pakistan.
Your
Like, my
freedom is-
freedoms aren't in Ukraine. They're not
Your
in
freedom
Russia.
isn't
So it's
in
like,
Israel too.
Your freedom isn't in
I
Israel.
completely 100% agree. So
Of course.
why
So
is American
why-
taxpayers going to Israel?
That's
Why
a
why
question
it
for
goes
the American
why it
government.
goes to Ukraine first?
I don't think it should go to Ukraine either. I mean,
Okay.
my freedoms aren't in Ukraine.
So
That's
vote
your-
vote to whoever is not going to give the money.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I
It's an American government question.
think America has some interest in this region.
So do you think America should continue to give aid to Israel? Because it's like, what, $3 billion a year?
I have no right to say anything about that because I'm not an American. Okay?
You don't have an opinion on whether it would be a good idea or not?
That's-
I think you
personal
invest.
interests.
You're investing in your interest, right? Like anything. You as a person, you invest in your interest. Yes.
I mean, I don't think it's in my interest to give money to
No.
Israel.
In
but-
general,
Yeah.
in general, you invest in your interest. You're going to the gym. You're going to a movie. You buy new clothes because that's your interest. I'm doing that very superficially. Apparently, America has some interest in this area, so America is investing in this region. That's my take on that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And you can talk about that with every military base that exists too.
I also think we should have less U.S. military bases all across
And
the
that's
world.
your-
So
that's, again, that has to do with like your opinion, what you believe. That's your value, and that's what your opinion is.
That's a different conversation.
That's a whole other
It's all
conversation.
different.
But
conversation.
if America stopped giving all aid to Israel, you wouldn't be upset at America?
You can ask us that as people who have interest in Israel.
I can?
No.
I just did. I mean, I can ask it.
But you can't expect us to
You know what?
believe in a
I would be sad about that.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
I would be frustrated because we like America is the big brother of Israel. Would you agree with me about that?
I mean, in some senses, yes.
Okay. I help my younger brothers regardless if I'm gonna get something from that or not. I'm helping people regardless if I'm gonna get something out of that. I'm supporting people and helping them because that's part of my values. And again, that's a different conversation if it's part of your values. That you're gonna decide that in the election.
So when pro-Palestinian supporters, they would accuse Israel of being an apartheid government. Do you believe that?
No, let me
You don't
tell
believe
why.
that? Okay.
An apartheid government requires very few things. One, that there's an overwhelming minority that has no rights. Arabs serve in the Supreme Court. They hold elections. They have places in government. They serve in the military. They have jobs. They seamlessly live in the community.
They also are a minority in Israel.
Yes.
And they have so many rights.
They have so many rights. They have every right. You will see a
But the Palestinians in Palestine do not. That's why.
No. Wait a second.
hold
Wait a
on.
second. You know which people tried to help designing this attack? The people that crossing the border every single day.
Which border?
From Gaza to Israel to work in Israel.
I thought the border was largely. I mean, how often is the border open between Gaza and Israel?
There is.
Because it's very difficult to get through.
No. There is some places, some big gates. Like
I'm not saying it never happens, but typically it is very difficult to get from Gaza to Israel and back and forth.
There are Palestinians. There are like people from Gaza that's going every day, every week to work in Israel.
They work in Israel.
They have a pass. They can pass the border. Like we control some of these gates, okay, and they can cross the border and work in Israel and get so much more money. These people helped designing the attack. These people took pictures of the gates, of the military bases. Some of these Arab people, some of these Palestinians worked
Let's not
in.
generalize and say that.
Sorry, some of these Palestinians worked in the military bases right next to the border. They took pictures and they helped Hamas to design the attack. These people got their bread and butter from Israel. So to say they don't have any right, I would disagree about that. Because Israel tried to help and support the Gaza's economy by that. Because they know they're gonna get so much more money in Israel to work the same amount of hours in Gaza.
There are entire construction companies that no longer have workers because their entire work base was people from Gaza and people from the West Bank, and those people can't leave anymore because of the war.
Yeah,
which is Israel's decision not to let them come in.
Because these people.
Would you let them in?
Are you saying all of them are terrorists?
No, not all of them are terrorists.
I mean, is there a way that you can vet them as
to
terrorists?
eliminate right now during the war? There is no way to eliminate them. During the war, there is no way to eliminate these people. You're a terrorist. You're not a terrorist because we're investing our resources, our people, in investigation of what happened. Where we don't have unlimited resources, so we're investing the resources we have in investigating in like the relevant things.
Do either of you subscribe to what's sometimes been called Zionism?
What was that?
The ideology of Zionism. Okay. Do you think the Netanyahu government is a Zionist government? I know that you said you didn't vote for Netanyahu, but they are the ones in control right now.
Okay. With no doubt, Netanyahu is Zionist. No doubt. I can agree or disagree about the way he's acting.
Politics.
What does Zionism mean to you then?
The right for the state of Israel to exist, and for the right for the Jewish people to have a place where they won't feel that they are at a point where someone is threatening them at all times.
And I think Biden said
would that include like taking over Gaza and taking over the West Bank?
That's a really complicated question.
Because okay.
I mean, because obviously Palestinians will say from the river to the sea, but Zionism would also kind of say from like this territory specifically from the river to the sea is historically ours.
Would you consider Donald Trump a patriot?
Sure.
Okay. Would you consider people of the KKK a patriot?
Some of them maybe. I don't know every member of the KKK.
Exactly,
so.
but you're asking that there are radicalists in Israel as well. You have to understand.
And not all Zionists are Jews. There's lots of non-Jewish Zionists as well.
Biden said you don't have to be a Jewish person to be a Zionist.
That's true. There's many evangelical Christians that are Zionists.
I think we prove that right now that if Israel isn't safe, any Jews around the world isn't safe. And we saw that in France. We saw that in the US. So we understand the importance of Israel, the importance of strong Israel. And Zionism, I mean, it started about 100 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, towards the end of the 19th century, yes.
About 100 years ago.
And I mean, not all of them, but a lot of the early supporters of Zionism were like anti-Semites, and they didn't want them to live in Europe anymore. And so that's why they came up with this idea.
So we all understand that.
I'm not saying all Zionists are anti-Semites, but I'm saying that there is a very powerful influence early on.
And we understand that.
And they were moving, ethnic Jews into that area from I think 1890 all the way to the 1940s.
Palestinians, people that you call them Palestinians right now. Majority of them, most of them, came to this area.
What is Palestine/Israel?
Yes, they came to this area from Egypt, from Jordan, from Morocco, from wherever, from all around the region, to work for the British mandate. They went there about the same time, a little bit before, right? But they went there
to work for the British.
Yes, they went to work there for the British mandate.
I mean, they went to where jobs were available.
Yes.
But there were also a lot of people that considered themselves Palestinians that had been living there for also hundreds of years.
Jews and Muslims. Jews and Muslims.
But I mean, for a long time, the Palestinians had been the majority there for very, very, including under the Ottomans, including under the British Mandate, the overwhelming majority were Palestinians, or they were Arabic.
They were Muslims.
They were Muslims
because the Jews there were Palestinians too.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, the flag they are waving with right now, is it the Palestinian flag or the Fatah flag?
I don't know right offhand. So
this flag...
I mean, Fatah it really goes back to the Palestinian Liberation Organization, which precedes Fatah.
Okay.
But
the Palestinian flag, as it was before 47, was with the Star of David on that. The Palestinian money, the Palestinian coins, had Jewish symbols on that.
They're British mandate coins. Their currency is British mandated currency. It's from the UK mint.
Yeah, so it wasn't the Palestinians that were deciding; it was the UK that was deciding it. I mean,
I would disagree about
that. I mean,
that,
the Palestinians there didn't choose to be under the UK. They also didn't choose to be under the Ottoman.
I would disagree about that because.
I mean, they were not given a vote to be like, okay, we're going to be controlled by Britain. It was won after World War I.
I would disagree about some of the things because the British got lots of their interest from Israel. They earned lots of money, and they had to control this region for their own interest.
There's
like French and Great
Britain. There's a lot of political bullshit that went into that.
Yeah.
It was all about politics.
Yeah. I mean, we can go on like for hours.
Forever.
You have any final questions?
I guess my final question is what do you think that the Netanyahu government should be doing in relation to this?
Just to say, I will say right now, it's not only Netanyahu government. If you know, Benny Gantz is one of the. He used to be like in the opposition. Before then, he was the chief of staff of the IDF. He is a really good person. I voted to him. And he was the opposition and joined to the government. Why? Because they need people with experience, people with different opinions. And so the government right now is not only Netanyahu. That's first. What was the question again?
I mean, what do you think the Netanyahu government should be doing going forward? And
I think.
Or do you think there needs to be a change in leadership? Because I mean, as I said earlier, there are a lot of.
They're going to change the leadership right now. In a war, you don't talk about that.
I mean, Abraham Lincoln went through an election during the Civil War, so it's not like that's never happened. I mean, it's a war. That's what we're saying. It's a war.
It's a different civil war. I would say civil war and war between two people are different.
I mean, we've also had multiple. Just to think, the United States has had multiple wars against two people, and we've still had elections.
100%. Our politics is weaker than the U.S. politics for 100%. by the end of the day, I don't know if it's going to take six months. I don't know if it's going to take a year. I don't know if it's going to take 2 years. Netanyahu is not going to be the prime minister anymore, 100%. But right now, because the government is wider, you have more people. So I think first off, they should clean Gaza from terrorism, and I would say on the top of that, they should clean south of Lebanon from terrorism too. Because Gaza right now, of course, that's the main issue and that's the main topic. But nobody's talking about the north. Nobody is talking about the fact that
I've personally heard people talk about it, but okay.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not the main issue.
Yeah.
And Hezbollah is sending missiles too. Hezbollah's plan was even worse than Hamas. I mean, I don't know because they never got to do that. But we should find a solution for that. And right now we are in Gaza, so we should make sure we are safe. We should make sure our people can go back to their communities, rebuild them from literally not from zero, from negative, because people cannot go on the streets there because they have like.
Go over the street where? I'm sorry, I just want to...
Around Gaza.
In Gaza, okay.
Not in Gaza, around Gaza.
Around Gaza,
the communities around Gaza.
So the Israeli-controlled parts around Gaza?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, like the
the border, essentially.
Yes, around the border. People cannot go there right now because they have... First off, they burned, like, not the Palestinians, sorry. Hamas burned...
On October 7th?
Yes, right. So many houses. They destroyed so many houses. They kidnapped, they abused, they slaughtered everything. People have PTSD right now. They can go there. So it's building from negative, not from zero. And they need to destroy everything and build it again.
Destroy everything where?
In those communities.
In this community.
Okay, in the border communities.
In the border, on our communities.
Okay.
On our communities.
But not destroy all of Gaza.
No. They need to destroy the terror systems there. They need to make sure.
They need to fill the tunnels.
Yes, they need to make sure, like, the leaders of Hamas are not there anymore. The leaders of Hamas are not controlling Gaza anymore, and make sure our people are safe, and not our people are safe. Palestinian people are safe too.
Okay.
Because Okay,
I appreciate you talking to me. Can you just give me your names again and like spell them for me?
Ariel Atias.
Okay.
YAHLIBARKAN.
Okay. And are you guys ISU students?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for talking with me. I appreciate it. You can look up Agitation Rising on Facebook.
Agitation.
Agitation Rising.
Okay.
On Facebook and on YouTube.